All right, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the Dominate podcast. I would say this is technically our second episode, but it's kind of our first official episode because, let's be honest, like last episode was kind of just us seeing if we really wanted to do this or not.
100%.
And we were just we talked about a bunch of random shit in that episode. That was cool. You know, I had a good time. That's a good idea, man. Let me mute my cell phone, too. I forgot. I didn't even get a notification, so we're all good.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But in this episode, we're going to be talking, we actually have a story to tell, or I shouldn't say we, I should say Jack Patno has a story to tell.
Well, we both have little rants to go on.
We do. But I'm excited because we have a more, it's more of a topic-oriented show versus just us hanging out talking, which I think is, it's cool, but, I don't think people want to listen to that.
We got to provide a little bit of value.
We do.
100%.
So I'm excited. So this episode is called Pigs Get Slaughtered is what we wanted to call it?
That's what I think.
I
think we're going to name it that.
And honestly, this is news to me. I just walked into my office today and Jack said, name it Pigs Get Slaughtered. So I said, okay. And he said, I got a story to tell, Spencer. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, hey, let me hear it. So this whole story. I've never heard it before. You're going to see my live reaction. And hopefully we're going to learn a valuable lesson from the clout plug himself. So, Jack, go ahead and take it away, my friend.
All right, Mr. Surplus Warrior. I'm going to try to keep this as short as I can so I'm not just rambling on for hours about this because I could. Excuse me, but so I've been looking into buying this one Instagram account, right? And as you guys know, on the internet, there are so many scammers, so many fucking people who are just on there to scam and get money for doing nothing. And it's actually pretty unfortunate, but it's the reality of it. And anyway, so this account @invest, so just invest. It's a one-word name, and it's very rare on Instagram. And you can do a lot of things with it. I had some good ideas with it, and if anything, I was gonna, fix it up and flip it. But so I've been talking to this guy for a while who has the account, and it seemed real because he was showing me the account. He was posting selfies of him on it and all these different things to I took the right steps, and it looked real. And then so a while back he told me he bought the account for $2,500. So he's like, all right, yeah, I'll sell you for $3,000, and I got him down to $2,000, and then. In hindsight, I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? But he's like, yeah, dude, honestly, I'm trying to get it off my hands, blah, blah, blah. And this guy seemed so trustworthy. He was sending me photos of his student ID and all these different things, which I have a feeling are fake because, he knew he was going to scam me. And so he's like, yeah, dude, like $2,000 if we do it tonight. And I was like, okay, I don't fuck with that, that hard sell, like the quick, the scarcity of it, like the time of it. Because I've done that before, and I don't think it's right. I think you gotta let the people have some time. So I'm like, no, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna sleep on it. And I woke up and I had a good feeling about it. But then, long story short, once I started, we're like, okay, how am I gonna pay you? And he's like, I'm like, I prefer to go through PayPal because you can get your money back if shit happens. And he was like, oh yeah, I don't know how to set up PayPal. And so that's a fucking huge red flag. I'm like, so you're telling me you have an OG username, and you obviously deal with money if you're claiming that you've bought this account for $2,500. You know how to set up fucking PayPal? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, dude. What about Cash App? And he's like, yeah, Cash App works. And then, so long story short, I paid him $500, and then Cash App wasn't letting me send any more money, thank God. And I'm like, okay, how am I gonna pay you the other $500? Because the deal was I pay him $1,000, and then I get the credentials, and then he pays me $1,000, or then I pay him the rest of $1,000. And then I'm like, all right, do you want me to send you the other $500 through Venmo? He's like, what's Venmo? So I'm like, fuck, dude. And all these different red flags I don't want to get into because it's kind of hard to explain all the different things that were happening. But long story short, I was so decided on getting that account and making a lot of money from it, either flipping it or doing something with it, that I was just being a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? And this has happened to me before, and I thought I learned from it, but I sure as hell learned from it this time, because this time I lost $750, which is a lot of money for anybody, right? But yeah, and then the reason why I wanted to name it Pigs Get Slaughtered is because I told my dad about it, because he came in, he could tell I was visibly frustrated, and I told him what happened, the whole story, and he's like, this is a lesson for you, man. Pigs get slaughtered. You were too focused on taking it and making a bunch of money that you just didn't stick to the, to your freaking I don't know, like common sense that this is a bad idea and stick to your gut. This is a bad idea. So that's kind of the gist of the story without, talking about it for hours.
Right. And to expand on that too, like he texted me yesterday before all this happened. And I'm going to read this text word for word verbatim. You're okay with me doing that? Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure. And he said verbatim, he said, what did he put? He put, yo, Spencer, need your advice / potential opportunity for us both. I said, what's up, man? He said, I might buy at Invest right now for $2,000. He says we can have an escrow and everything. And in addition, he's given me his full name. You think it's a good idea? And I replied with word for word, dude, I'm the wrong guy to ask. I don't know anything about Instagram. And the truth is, I don't know anything about Instagram. Yeah. I have like 1,200 followers. I don't even know how many followers, like 1,700 followers. And I've never fucking taken it seriously.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want to say, dude, like after you telling me this story, isn't this the second time you've gotten scammed?
This is the second time. Yes, and I hate to say that. No. I think I'm more mad at myself than about losing the money. And just I need to be better. But the first time it was like really early on in my game of like online business stuff, and I just I made some mistakes that were just I would never make again. But this time, this dude was a professional fucking scammer, dude. So many things seemed legit, and then right after I paid him the $500 is when all the red flags popped up, where he's like, "Oh, I don't know what Venmo is." You know what I mean? He was playing dumb and stuff, but this is the second time to answer your question.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I'll say this, man, because you have the same mentality that I have. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very similar.
Similar.
Right? Like, I believe, Jack Padno, and all the listeners listening to this, I believe I was put on this fucking planet to do one thing. Conquer. Okay, that's it. Like, I fucking came here to conquer. I don't know what I'm conquering, necessarily, but whatever is in front of me, I'm conquering, okay? And right now, that's the business world, and I love it. I'm very competitive, as we talked about last podcast. And so sometimes if you're stuck in that mindset of like conquer everything, like fucking like you ignore obvious signs that maybe you would have seen if you were more clear-headed.
100%, yeah. Or if I just had another person next to me, like, dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like you said, the whole conquer thing, I was just way too excited. Yeah. And it just clouded my judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy too, like the amount that emotions can play in business.
Oh, it's unreal.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Because, I've always wanted to have an Instagram like that, you know what I mean? Because it gets recognized, you grow it a little bit, boom, verified, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you can flip it, you can do whatever, like we talked about, but the emotions literally clouded my judgment. Like, thinking back on it this morning, I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot, but I'm grateful for it because it was a big lesson, and it was only $750 as opposed to, maybe $75,000 in the future or something like that.
Right.
It was some big deal of some sorts.
There was this, and I'm not going to say her name, but there was this girl in my mastermind a few years ago. I don't remember. I don't think you were going at this time. And again, I'm not going to say her name, but her name started with an M, so we're going to call her Macy. That's not a real name, but we'll call her Macy. And Macy had this business where she taught kids like how to play instruments, and I'm going to just leave it at that. And she was fairly successful. Now she is much older than me. I was 19 at the time. She was like 26. Okay. And pretty successful, 26-year-old, nothing crazy. Was making probably $10,000-$15,000 a month from her little business, which was cool.
Yeah.
But had this idea. She's like, I'm going to go hire this branding expert and pay him $12K to rebrand and like be my mentor and all this craziness. And this was early on. I mean, at 19, I definitely had a lot more business sense than most 19. I would say almost all 19-year-olds. Mm-hmm. But I really was still pretty new to the game. Yeah. Especially just to business itself, not necessarily real estate, which I knew a lot about. But in this case, I didn't. Like, it sounded kind of sketchy, but I was like, I don't know. And then, of course, sure enough, she ends up losing the $12K. Literally goes all the way down, moves down to San Diego, to like be near this mentor, and then that's just ridiculous. Gets scammed like out of a bunch of money. And I'm just like, dude, now she has like a job, like her business is gone. And I'm just like,
that's so fucked up.
I know.
That's so fucking up.
It's crazy. But it happens, man. So you guys that are out there that are looking for opportunities, make sure you vet these people. Today I was on the phone with someone that we're thinking about working with here at Surplus List. If you guys don't know, Surplus List is my company. We're an education and software company. And so we're thinking about bringing in this guy as like a potential coach for our students. Okay. And like the first thing I asked him, like, dude, this is just me asking you, no disrespect or whatsoever, but how much money are you actually making from this? Because if you're not making a good amount of money, we don't want you.
Uh-huh.
I'd never met this guy before. It's my first question. And it's not like I'm trying to be blunt with him, but it's like at the end of the day, dude, like you need to be a legit person if you're going to come work with us.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
We don't want bullshit.
Yeah.
And if you can't show us undeniable proof that you do this consistently and make money with it, we don't want you.
Yeah.
You know?
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, seriously. Well, it was a phone call, but I'll hang up. I'll hang up on your bitch ass. All right? But yeah, I mean, just stuff like that. That's why, like, with our sales page, that's why our sales pages work so well, because it's just undeniable proof that it fucking works.
Yeah.
I mean, you go in there and there's like fucking like 12 videos of people making money, then there's like 40 different photos of people making money. It's like at some point, it's real, right?
Well, and you have like, you know, obviously like you're throwing out your real name. You know what I mean? You have the risk free, just like I do. And you have a secure method like PayPal and fucking, you know, just like the normal Stripe payment.
Yeah,
you know
100%.
what I mean?
And we have great reviews. I mean, not only just our case studies, but we have reviews, 5-star reviews up the you know what.
Yeah.
And anybody that knows me and has followed me for any length of time knows we take our customers very seriously.
100%, yeah.
You know, we've got our customer support, which we're always trying to improve. We're actually doing welcome calls now. So if you guys buy my program, which, by the way, this is not a pitch. Actually, never buy anything I put out ever. Okay? But hypothetically, if you were to buy my program, we actually have someone that calls you like the next business day and welcomes you to the program and gets you, you know, excited, answers all your questions and all that. So, I mean, we take it very seriously, but there's just so many scams out there that, you know, it's hard. That's why
people don't want to, you know, they're afraid to get their dip their foot in the fucking pool on the online business game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of all the scams and because of all the fake people.
Well, that's been the crazy thing with us that we've really noticed is, especially in the last 6 to 8 months, the people that have started joining our program, like 60 to 70% of them come in with such a negative attitude.
100%.
Right?
Same with mine.
And especially now that we're doing phone calls and stuff with them, and then on coaching calls and our coaching group and all that, like they come in with this negative attitude, and then we talk to them. We're like, hey, like, you know, what's wrong? Like, we haven't even met you yet. Like, you just joined our program yesterday. Like, how can you not like us, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's not you. You know, there's so many scams out there. Like, you know, you guys might be a scam. And I'm like, dude, like, we're not a scam.
Yeah.
Like, come in. And then after a couple days, they're like, oh, okay, like, these guys are legit. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
But there's just so much crap out there that it's hard to, you know, it's funny. I'm not going to put it very graciously, but there's so many talks out there about like how we went through the information age of like the expansion of information. And now we're in like the filter age where it's like, it's no longer about like just putting information out there and finding information, because anyone can find information. It's about finding the right information.
Yeah, and you know, making it concise and,
right,
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, so what do you think like the main indicator of who's a phony and who's not? Because for me, like you said with your people, I have the same problem where they come in and you know, whether before they buy it or after, they're like, I don't know if this is a scam, but then right when they get in there, my first module is all about me just being like real as fuck and like telling them like, you know, my ups and downs in life, pumping them the fuck up, and then they're always sending me photos like, fuck yeah, man, like I'm so excited now, but like, yeah. I mean, I just don't know how you tell, you know what I mean?
Dude, this is the biggest thing for me. Now, it's different with everything, obviously, but okay. So our program is about surplus funds. If you don't know what surplus funds is, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter, okay? It just has to do with real estate investing, okay? So real estate investing. So if you want to learn real estate investing, do you want to learn real estate investing from some guy who makes money and posts a picture of him driving a Lamborghini saying that he's a real estate investor, or Donald Bren? Now, most people listening to this probably have no fucking idea who Donald Bren is.
Which is a problem.
Because Donald Bren is a billionaire.
Yeah.
And he made it all from real estate investing. So I would much rather learn real estate investing from Donald fucking Bren than some guy online driving a Lamborghini.
Who says swipe up, you know what I mean?
Who says swipe up.
Yeah.
And so I say this not to like hate on people, because, you know, we have friends that do that. I'm not hating on you guys if you guys are listening.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that, like, if you're looking at buying a program or trying to learn something, like, don't, like, dude, fuck the Lamborghini, okay? Like, if they have a Lamborghini, like, that's awesome. That's great. They're trying to sell you a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay? That doesn't mean you won't be able to buy a Lamborghini if you invest in real estate, or you will be able to buy. I don't know. I'm not you. But I do know this, that just because they have a Lamborghini, first of all, it's not that fucking expensive, number one. Okay, it's like $2,000 a month, which sounds like a lot, but it's not that fucking much.
Even if you're making, you know, $10K a month, you could live in your goddamn Lamborghini.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, it'd be stupid, but you can hypothetically do it. There's people that do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a car. You shouldn't be buying people's courses because they have a cool car. Okay, you should be buying people's courses because you know for a fact, like, this guy knows his shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when people come on my webinar, like, I just show them result after result after result after result. I don't show them. I never even have a picture of a fucking car on my webinar.
Yeah.
It's 2.5 hours long. I don't even mention a car. Okay.
No, because I've studied your webinar. And I know for a damn fact you have no flexing on there.
Yeah.
Just like Maria.
Maria.
What's the other guy?
Fucking Bill.
Bill.
Rick,
Yeah. All the boys.
Everyone, man, everyone. And we need to add more. Actually, we're gonna update the webinar, but we're gonna do a podcast soon on the webinar. I'm very excited about that.
Okay.
Because I think it'll be good not only for you, because Jack right now is trying to put together his own webinar. It'll be good for you. It'll be good for me because it's always good to get another opinion on your webinar and kind of see it from a different angle and different lens. And then obviously, for the people listening that don't know, you know, my company makes on average about $100,000 to $150,000 a month with this one webinar.
Yeah.
So it might be good for you to learn too. I don't know. But,
yeah, no, you definitely want to take notes when Spencer's talking about a fucking webinar.
Sure,
I can tell you that much.
And I'm not the greatest of all time at it, but I know a thing or two, and I'm excited to share. Yeah. Because not a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you search webinar on YouTube, like it's like some fucking girl that like doesn't even know what the hell she's like.
Yeah.
You can use a webinar to make money. It's like, well, yeah, I mean.
And then it's like or like the second search engine or whatever is like ClickFunnels, and it's like connect your webinar to Everjet.
Yeah, exactly. It's like okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, webinar, in my opinion, right now, especially for online businesses, webinar is the easiest way to scale.
You think it's easier than a VSL?
Well, I mean, it's basically the same thing. I mean, a VSL is just a short version of a webinar.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you're selling someone something via a video.
Yeah,
so.
true. Well, I'm just talking about what I think about that is like the whole live aspect of it.
Right.
I mean, maybe it's because we see it through a lens of like, okay, we know, like all the, you know, like the tricks and like the tactics behind a webinar.
Yeah.
But like from a normal person, or not okay, we're all normal, you know what I mean? But like from someone who's just new to this and then they're coming across and they're potentially going to buy your product, like, I don't know. It works though, right? Like Alex Becker, fucking what is he doing? Like $1 million a month, 1.1
to 1.2, yeah, somewhere in there.
So, but
with the webinar, here's the crazy thing. So we've tested. We never had a straight. If you guys don't know what a VSL is, it's a video sales letter, which is basically a website with a headline and a video. And then after like a certain amount of minutes, like a little sales form pops up, and then you can buy. So that's what a VSL is. What a webinar is, if you don't know, it's typically a very, very, very long broadcast. When I say very long, they range. I mean, of course, they're any size, but typically they're minimum 45 minutes, all the way up to mine is like 2.5 hours. Alex Becker's is like 3 hours. Sam Ovens is 3.5, right? So they're pretty long. And you know, there's a training section of it. There's an introduction section of it. There's a sales section of it. There's a Q&A. Like there's all these different sections. There's a lot of moving parts to it. The only real difference is the length between the two. Yeah. And then the difference, like there's no Q&A in a VSL, right?
That's true, yeah.
And then typically too, it just depends on how much it is, like how much the product is. Mm-hmm. So if you're selling a $24 product, I'm not going to do a fucking 3-hour webinar to sell a $24 product. I'm going to slap together a 10-minute VSL. Like I did, I should say, I've actually done some VSLs.
Really?
Yeah, on the killercloser.com. If you go on there right now, get your Killer Closer script. $1. It's the same script I used to buy my mom a house at 19 years old and build a company to $150,000 a month at 21. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Pitch aside, there's a great VSL in there. If you guys go. It literally is just me with some basic sales tactics talking about. I try to make it funny, like I threw in a joke or whatever.
So are you running ads to that?
No, not at all. It's literally I'm just send people there every once in a while and fucking. The copy on this page is fucking really good though. I don't know why I spent so much goddamn time selling a $1 item, but I did.
You see who the buyers are, right? Like Russell says.
Exactly. I mean, look at this right here. Proof. All red.
Fuck.
But yeah, guys, go check it out. I mean, I'm not really making any money from it. Obviously, it's $1, but it's a great script. People love it. And there's an upsell for another $1, which is great. And then there's an upsell after that for $9 a month.
Okay.
Where I literally get on a call and coach you twice a month for $9 a month.
That's value.
That's pretty good value.
Yeah.
So I'm not here to like sell stuff, obviously, but check it out, killercloser.com. But anyway, so I did 3 VSLs for this funnel, and they're all. I mean, again, you're selling a $1 product, so who knows if they're actually good or not? But
yeah,
I mean, I sold a bunch of it, so who knows? But yeah, I mean, really, dude, like the key thing I've seen, the reason why people don't do webinars is because they're fucking lazy.
Yeah,
that's why.
And that's been my problem.
Yeah, it's fucking hard, dude.
It's hard because remember when I tried making my first one, I kind of showed you, you know, and it was bad. It was bad. It was bad as fuck. But now that I'm like actually like sitting down for a couple hours at a time and like really thinking about like what each word, you know, what the person on the webinar is gonna think when they see each different word.
Yeah.
You just like Alex Becker talks about, you're maximizing the 1% of every little thing.
Yeah.
Makes like a huge difference.
Yeah, it's building a webinar from scratch is probably one of the most challenging things I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also one of the most lucrative things I've ever done. Like, in my opinion, if you're someone watching this right now and you have an online business, or you have a business in general, and you want to take it to the high 5-figure level per month, or even 6-figure, or even 7-figure per month level, a webinar is the best way to do it, for sure. It's the most scalable. It's the least expensive option. And really, all your other options include hiring a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But if you don't know how to manage and lead a team, then it's not the best option up front. Whereas a webinar, you can just learn it, and it takes a fucking long time to learn it. But once you do it, you have a very valuable skill set.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, if you guys don't know, so typically a webinar, you sell between $1,000 and $3,000 product. Now, there's different types of webinars. I'm not going to get into that here, but for the type of webinar that like we're talking about, you'd sell a $1,000 to $3,000 product. You can sell less than that. You can do like a $500 product. I don't recommend doing that. Just because the numbers are not going to make sense. And so what I mean by that is, you spend money on ads to send people to the webinar, and if your product is too cheap, then you're going to spend more to get a sale than you are going to make on that sale.
Yeah.
So, and I'm happy when we do this. I'm happy to go through all of our numbers and all that on the call, and I'm excited to see like what you want to ask, and I think it'll be good for me to kind of, again, see it from a different perspective.
100%. Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe that'll be the next podcast we do.
I'm done.
We'll be the webinar.
When you're back from Dallas?
From Dallas? Yeah, I'm going to Dallas. I'm going to a Tony
excited.
Robbins event.
You're stoked.
I'm very stoked. I'm going to walk on fire, which is good.
So you actually are?
Yeah, on the hot coals, I'm walking on hot coals.
What is that? Is that him like making your mind think like it's not hot?
I have no idea why we do it. I'm going to do it because fucking Oprah did it, so I'm doing it. There's a video of Oprah doing it at Tony Robbins events. So.
And you think that you full-heartedly believe that they're actually hot and it's not like a joke?
No, they're actually hot, dude. They're like bright red. Dude, I'll show you a video of it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, pull that shit up, dude. Because, I mean, unless Tony Robbins is just Jesus himself, which he might be.
Hey,
he very well
who
might
knows?
be.
Who knows? Tony Robbins, firewalk. Like, it's definitely... Here's Oprah. Turn this volume off. For those that don't know what a firewalk is, basically you have like hot coals that like you walk on, and they're like bright red. It's pretty self-explanatory. Look at this, dude. Look, it's like bright red.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah, no, it's...
I mean, I guess I'll hear firsthand from you how it feels.
Yeah.
But how do you not burn your fucking feet?
You know, I don't know. Maybe I'll burn my feet.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing it the first day, so hopefully not.
Okay.
Because I don't want to have to stand for another 3 days after that.
I feel that. How many people are attending?
I think like 10,000, something like that. Yeah, it's pretty. It's supposed to be. It's funny. He's like, oh, it's a smaller venue. I'm like, how much? It's like, I like 9,500, 10,000. I'm like, what?
How much did it cost?
I think our tickets were 1,000.
To get to the actual event.
Yeah, it was 1,000. Damn. So I wanted the more expensive ones, but I was talking to the guy, and like the perks of the more expensive ones were kind of stupid. So I was like, it was like, oh, you get this cool like lounge area. I'm like, oh, does Tony hang out there? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, what's in the lounge? He's like, just snacks.
Yeah,
I'm like, and it's $5,000. He's like, yeah. He's like, but you get a free book. I'm like, all right. Like, I might have to skip on the. I'll just buy the book for $20, bro. I don't really.
You probably already have it.
Yeah.
Look at your bookshelf.
Probably do. Speaking of books, you said you had a book recommendation.
I did, or I mean, not necessarily a recommendation, because I think most people, probably not most people have read it, but The Richest Man in Babylon, which I'm sure you read. Mm-hmm. Actually, we've talked about it, you've read it, but I was just gonna connect it to my story from getting scammed and that pigs get slaughtered, because I think it was one of the 5 laws of gold, is you cannot expect your gold to earn unrealistic earnings. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I was doing by like if it's unrealistic, there's a really good chance it's not fucking real.
Right.
Or that sounded like no duh. But like, if it seems too good to be true, it's probably fucking not.
Probably too good to fucking be true.
It's too good to be true.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. You know what I mean? And I just remember like today I woke up and I'm like, I should have actually fucking like remembered that yesterday, but now it's ingrained in my brain.
100%.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. Well, hopefully you've learned your lesson.
I did.
I don't mean to be like talking shit, but I feel like, dude, at the end of the day, like, this is the other side of things that we're not even talking about. You're running your business.
Yeah,
right?
no, dude.
What the fuck does this have to do with anything that you're doing?
It doesn't. And that's the other thing. And you know what? A main reason why I was mad yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
It's because this whole shenanigans trying to buy it from him and then, like, getting scammed and trying to contact the bank took, like, 5 hours, you know? So I was thinking, dude, I was being so productive the whole day, and I just lost 5 hours.
That's like $1,000 right there. $2,000. I don't know how much you make in an hour on your business, but you probably haven't calculated that. But
I haven't calculated it. I don't think it's that high yet.
Well, it could. I mean, I think it is. I think
it might be.
If not, it's close.
Yeah.
If not, it's close. But I mean, regardless, dude, like that's it's life there. I mean, you go through trials and tribulations and you learn.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I think what we've covered too about the scammers is good because there's just so much bullshit out there.
There is.
One of the things I'll say, okay, I'm going to go on record on the podcast right now and say this. And I'm going to offend a bunch of people, which I'm very good at doing. But I don't give a fuck.
Is this your rant?
No, this is not my rant. This is just some shit I thought of right now.
Okay.
Maybe this will be my rant, okay? But I'm going on fucking record to say, stop doing fucking MLMs, people, okay? It's fucking stupid. First of all, one of the most important rules of business, I'm about to drop some fucking knowledge. Most important rules of business is control. Okay? Every business that has had some failure or some cap or has not succeeded that I have been a part of has been because I lack control. Okay? So let me explain this. My solar eclipse glasses business, right? Which I'm not going to tell the story again today, but it flopped. We made some money and then it flopped because I didn't have control over how it was sold. It was sold via Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon shut me down. I can't control Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
What if I wanted to fucking sue Jeff Bezos?
Yeah.
Like, it's just not gonna happen, right? So, you want to have more control, not give up control, unless it's to your direct employees or something like that. But you don't want to do that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, in an MLM, you're directly giving up control. You don't control the product. You don't control anything other than your own efforts, which is cool, but you don't even control the fucking compensation. Like, it's like this weird. Fucking, like, I don't know if you've ever seen, like, an MLM compensation plan.
I honestly haven't.
Dude, I've only seen one of them, and literally, I'm pretty good at math. Like, you have to do fucking calculus to figure this shit out, dude.
You're kidding.
No, it's like, if you sell 50 of these, and 12 of them don't refund, then you make this amount, minus this, because we're going to give you this, and you're going to end up with 12 boxes of green tea. And you're like, how the fuck did I get to 12 boxes of green tea?
That's ridiculous. And that's when people, like, they have, like, a product, then everyone, like... they have a bunch of different people selling the product for like a little percentage, or what is that?
So I'm gonna tell you. I have 3 stories about MLMs, why you should not do them. 2 of them are my own, meaning it happened to me. Mm-hmm. One of them is a friend's story, Christian, actually. Shout out to Christian Hoffman. That literally happened today as we record this.
You're joking.
This morning, which got me thinking about this. So the first story is, back when I was very young. I was literally a month out of high school. And as I talked about last podcast, I felt like I was the shit. Okay? Is that chair uncomfortable?
I'm good.
Okay.
To answer your question, yes, but I just adjusted it. So
you're all good. You can use the beanbag and just kick back if you want to.
It's all good.
Okay, you can just, all right. Anyways, so I'm a month out of high school, and I felt like I knew everything about fucking business. Because to be truthful, at 18, I probably did know basically more than every other 18-year-old on the face of the planet at the time. But I was still an idiot because I didn't know anything compared to anyone over the age of 19. Okay? So anyways, one day I meet with this guy, Clayton, who became a very good friend of mine later on. And I knew him in high school from basketball, but I had lost contact with him. And a mutual friend put us together and said, hey, you guys are both into business. You guys should meet. So we did. And we go there, and he's telling me about this and that. And I swear to God, he's talking about MLM, which I'd never even heard of before. I didn't even know what that was. And compensation. He's showing me this compensation plan and breaking this shit down for me. And literally, I'm like, the entire time, in the back of my head, I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck this guy's talking about. I'm like, I'm an idiot. Like, I don't know anything, right? The entire fucking time. I thought I was a genius going to this meeting. I'm like, oh, I'm about to flex on this guy, right? Yeah. Meanwhile, I don't know shit. So you fast forward, It's an hour-long meeting. He invites me. He says, by the way, this is red flag number one. If anyone ever says this to you, it might be legit, but chances are it's some bullshit. He says, Spencer, I want you to come back. We're doing a meeting here this weekend. I want you to come meet my mentor. Okay? If someone ever says, hey, come meet my mentor, like you just met him. They're like, hey, come down, meet my mentor, Jack. I'm like, that's how you know some shit's going south. Okay? So he says, come meet my mentor. You're really going to like him. I said, all right, cool. So I go down that weekend and I meet with him. Now before, let me say this. I knew nothing about what the fuck was going on. Literally. As blind as you could possibly get. There was one red flag that I picked up on. Is that in that hour-long meeting I had with him, he said one thing that threw me off. Because I wasn't asking any questions. I didn't know anything. He just said, Spencer, I know some people think MLMs are scams like Amway and up, but this is different. Okay? I didn't ask him if it was a scam. I didn't assume it was a scam. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right? He brought it up. You know what that tells me? It's a fucking scam. Okay?
Yeah.
You know, but that's my people skills just coming into contact, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't know anything. So I show up, and it's this old dude. This is his mentor. It's like this old dude in a suit, right? I said, oh, before I even get to that, I'm in line to register for this event. It's like this little hotel nearby. Probably like 30 people there, you know? And as I'm in line, there's these two guys in front of me. They had to be like in their 40s, okay? Like middle-aged, maybe late 30s at the youngest, right? Both wearing like suits. And his company name was called Win, something like that, Win Worldwide, I don't know. But the logo is a big W, okay? And these two guys in front of me are like the way they're talking is so I'll never forget this. It was so braggadocious, as if they started the company themselves, right? They're like, oh yeah, man, I just got back from Vegas at the Win Worldwide convention, you know, got to put those big W's on those buildings. He literally said that.
That's so stupid.
He literally said that. And the other guy's like, yeah, man, Win Worldwide for life, bro. And I'm just like, yo, you guys are like 40, dude. What the fuck are you guys talking about right now, man? Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, man, I've made so much money from this fucking, as he like straightens out his suit jacket. I'm like, dude, this is a fucking, I got a more expensive suit than you. I don't have any fucking money.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. So anyways, then I register. I meet with Clayton. We're there. We're there for an hour. This old guy, his mentor, is just blabbering on about God knows what for like an hour. I don't even know what the fuck this guy's talking about. You've got to have the right mindset. I'm like, for what? What the fuck are we talking about? You know? So an hour goes by. I'm like, I'm coming with an excuse. I left. I'm like, I got to get the fuck out of there. And then I went home, and I just had this really eerie feeling about the whole thing. I was like, something's wrong here, you know? So I looked up the company, and at the time, that company, and again, I don't remember the exact name, so don't quote me, but that company was going through a Supreme Court case for fraud. Literally, it was like, had just been appealed to the Supreme Court. And so I was like, oh shit, you know? So I printed out the first 3 pages of the court filing or whatever, and I printed it out and put it in a manila folder, and I met with Clayton later that week. And I was so nervous. Clayton was the only friend I had that knew about business. I was like, dude, I'm about to fucking, like, this is the right thing to do. I have to give it to him and just let him know. But he's never going to want to fucking talk to me again. It's just really going to fucking piss me off because it's the only guy I know that's actually in the business, you know? And I gave it to him, and I guess I was really nervous. He's like, oh, and I was like, hey, man, I want this to come in between our friends. He's like, oh, no, I understand. And then, you know what? Like, the next day, fucking credit where credit's due. He was done. He's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
And he quit, you know? And we've been best friends ever since. But that was the first experience I've had with an MLM. And that was when I started picking up on the red flags. I'm like, okay, if someone gives you a compensation plan that makes no fucking sense, so that's an MLM.
100%. Yeah.
If you want, we can stand. You want to stand?
I'm down to stand.
Okay, cool. All right, we're gonna. I have this cool desk. Check this out. Boom.
That's so sick.
So that was number 1. You can probably hear the motor. That's kind of crazy. So that's number 1. Number 2 is a few months ago. I'm sitting in my office, in my penthouse suite, as they say.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. But I'm sitting in my office, and this guy calls me. It's like a Friday, you know. And this guy I had only really met once. We played on like a basketball team together a couple years ago, like a rec league team. And he calls me and he's like, "Hey Spence, like how you doing, man?" I'm like, "I'm good." He's like, "Yo, bro, like we should hang out, man. It's been a while." I'm like, "Sure, man." Like it's not like this is a close friend. Like if you hit me up, I'm like, "Oh, what's up?"
Yeah.
Some like random dude I met like twice, you know. He's like, "Yeah, bro, like, you know, we should meet up and all this." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, dude, I'm down. Like, what'd you have in mind?" He's like, "Oh, why don't you come over to my house and play 2K?" I'm like, "I don't know about that one, bro. I don't really know you that well."
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know, if you want, man, like, you can come meet me at my office, like, sometime next week. He's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's dope, man. I actually want to show you something I've been working on, right?" So I'm like, oh, "Okay, all right.
Interesting.
For sure, yeah. Cool, man, I'll see you next week. All right." So then Monday comes, and he comes to the office, and he comes in, he's dressed. I'll never forget it. He's dressed in a dress shirt, slacks, and he's got Jordans on. Right? And I'm like, I mean, you know me, I'm wearing a t-shirt and fucking jeans.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I wear at the office. And we have a very casual culture over here at Surplus List. I'm wearing sweats right now. But anyways, so he comes and I give him a tour of the office and all this. And he sits down. He says, "Oh, how much you guys doing?" I tell him, how much we're doing. He's like, "Oh, that's amazing, He's like, "Yeah, actually, I'm really excited to show you what I've been working on." I said, "Oh, awesome. You started a business?" He's like, "Yeah, I did." And he's like, "Before we get started, though, I'm going to call my mentor and have him talk to you real quick," right? Already I knew what it was. I was like, fuck. I was like, I fucked up. I should have taken this meeting, right?
Yeah.
So he calls this guy. He's like, "Have you heard of Eric I forget his last name." I'm like, "Nah, bro, I have no idea who that is." It's like, to be honest with you, no idea, bro. He's like, "Oh, he's big on Instagram. He's got like 10,000 followers." I'm like, 10,000? That's not even that big. But he's got like 10,000 followers. And, he's a business genius. I'm like, okay. Yeah. For sure. Put him on the phone, bro. Put him on the phone. So fucking Eric picks up the phone, and he's got him on speaker. He's like, "Hello?" Like, he's like this real angry guy, bro. This Eric guy just sounds like a dick, He's like, "Hello," And, this guy, again, I'm not going to reveal his name. I don't even remember his name, to be honest, off the top of my head. But he's like, "Oh, what's going on, man? Like, how are you?" And Eric's like, "I'm good. Like, what's going on? I'm busy." And he's like, "Oh, I'm actually sitting here with a client. Like, I just wanted to introduce you or whatever." He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, can you hear me?" He's like, "Yeah, you're on speaker right now, right?" And then finally he hands me the phone, and Eric's like, "Oh, well, what is blah blah blah? What has he showed you?" And I was like, "Dude, honestly, he walked in my office 2 minutes ago. I have no idea what this is about. I literally don't." He's like, "Okay, well, with this business, you're gonna be able to, go to, any country you want and travel the world and make, $30,000 a month passively and do whatever you want to." And I'm like, "Hey, maybe you guys have the wrong guy here." I'm like, "I love my, I run my own business. I love working. I fucking hate vacations. So the last thing I want to do is have a business where I just vacation all the time."
Yeah.
I'm like, "There's this guy named John Rockefeller. And he has a quote that says, 'I can't think of a life less pleasurable than a life devoted to pleasure.'" And that's what I said to him on the phone. He's like, "Well, how much is your business doing right now?" I said, "Well, our goal this year is to hit $3 million, right?" and you know what he said to me? He didn't ask me what we sold. He didn't ask what type of business it was.
Yeah.
You know what he said? He said, "Well, I had a business that was doing $20 million, but I barely made any fucking money because the margins were horrible. That's why you should do this instead." I was like, "Okay, dude, you don't even know what my business is, bro. What if it's 90% profit?" Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is basically, it's like 60% profit. But anyway, so long story short, this guy's just a fucking dick, okay? And it gets better. So he hangs up the phone. Then this guy, he brings his computer to this meeting to show me slides, but he can't connect to the internet. And I'm like, I'm not giving this guy the fucking password. So he pulls out his phone. He starts doing the slideshow on his phone, right? Which is fine. He's holding the phone out like right in front of me. He's kind of letting me hold it, And we're about 4 slides in. He's talking about like Cancun. You go to Cancun. You go to Cancun. I'm like, dude, I don't fucking want to go to Cancun, bro. I have no desire to leave on vacation. I like my business. I like working. How can I work on this? Like, can I make $10 million with this?
Yeah.
I actually asked that to the Eric guy too. He's like, no. But anyway, so we're scrolling through, and then he's like, "Oh, we go to Italy." I'm like, "Dude, I don't fucking want to go to Italy either, bro. Like, you go to Egypt." Like, "Dude, I don't want to fucking go anywhere."
Yeah.
Okay. As we get to like the 4th destination, a text pops up from Eric. It's like, all caps, "I told you not to talk to cold leads. This guy's a dud!" Exclamation mark, bro. As I'm reading, I'm like, "Yeah, this meeting's over, bro. Like, what is happening?"
That is so funny. So you just said like, this meeting's over, like.
Yeah, no. So I played it off. I was like, whatever. I don't even think he saw that I saw it.
Yeah.
So I just let him go for like another 5 minutes, and I was like, "Look, this is what I told him. I told all my people that do MLMs this, and if you guys are doing this, like, this is my advice to you. I guarantee you, your potential is more than that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that your max potential is being an MLM salesman, okay? Like, you are capable of more than that." And so I tell you this because if that's the case, which it is for everybody, why the fuck are you going to limit yourself by doing this bullshit? So I told him this. I was like, "Dude, you're capable of more." It's like, "I know, it's just a good start." I'm like, "No, it's not a good start. It's a fucking horrible start."
Yeah.
Okay? I'm like, "You have this dickhead of a fuck." I'm like, "I'm sorry, it's a fucking dickhead." Okay? He doesn't know anything about me. He tells me I'm a fucking loser. Okay? I'm like, he can go fuck himself. Okay? Yeah. Even if I am a loser, dude, that's not how you sell something.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
So, you got that guy. And then on the flip side, dude, like, your only pitch is like to go to fucking Cancun. And as soon as I say I don't want to go to Cancun, you're fucked. So, this is just not good, bro. This is not working out for you, And you're better than this, He's like, oh, but I got you, man. And he took it pretty well.
Yeah.
And then you gotta go, bro. Get out of here. But that was that. And it's no disrespect to you if you're listening to this, dude. You're a great guy, man. I love you, but I can't be spending my time like that. Yeah. And I think you shouldn't be spending your time like that either. And I don't think you know anyone that should either.
Definitely not.
MLMs are interesting. It's like a gateway drug into entrepreneurship. I feel like everyone does an MLM at one point, or has been a part of one, or seen one, or something.
Yeah. And is that like the same thing as like a pyramid scheme?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
To be fair, there are MLMs that are not pyramid schemes,
mm-hmm.
and there are MLMs that are pyramid schemes.
So then what's the difference?
Okay, without getting too technical. So an MLM, what a pyramid scheme is basically, he takes his sunflower seeds. What a pyramid scheme is basically is that you have money that you have someone at the top, and you have 3 people under them, and you have 3 people under them, under each of them, right? And it goes on and on and on forever. And then those people just pay up to the next level.
Okay.
For no reason other than that they're joining this group. Okay, that's what a pyramid scheme is. The difference between that and an MLM is, basically an MLM has some sort of a third-party product where you're actually selling something, but there's still a recruitment, there's still all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And you really, on most MLMs, you make your money from the recruitment. You don't make it from the fucking...
Yeah, and then all the money just falls to the top.
Basically, yeah.
That's interesting.
So today I had Christian. Shout out to Christian. Hopefully you don't mind me sharing the story. He went out to MLM.
Oh, yeah, I want to hear about this.
MLM meeting today. I guess his friend, I'm not going to reveal her name, but his friend hit her up and said, hey, I'm working with this company, Northwestern Mutual. We're a Fortune 500 company, and I want you to come meet my mentor. So sure enough, he met the mentor. And I already knew. I told him going in, I'm like, dude, this is going to be bullshit. He was here working today. This is going to be bullshit. He's like, oh, I know. He's like, I'm just doing it to give her reps because I want to see her succeed now. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right. And you know what he told her live at the meeting in front of her mentor?
What?
I'm literally just here so you can practice. I'm not going to buy anything. Which is the greatest thing to ever say. So next time I get dragged into one of these meetings, I'll be like, guys, look, I'm just here so you guys can get better. I'm not actually going to buy anything. All right. And then, of course, they got all mad or whatever. But the problem is, dude, that the meeting still went 2 hours. Like, that's too fucking long.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah. It's too long. It's tough. The problem, dude, with these schemes and these MLMs and all that shit, dude, is like, especially when you're new to business and entrepreneurship, you don't know any better. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't know the signs, the red flags, you don't know, like...
Exactly.
You don't know all this bullshit. And so because of that, like, it just makes it so difficult to discern the good from the bad mm-hmm. when you don't know what's good and what's bad. Like, there's just things you don't know. Wait, would you mind closing these blinds, right?
Of course. Yeah, and I think there's a few things. If you're listening right now and you're beginner,
yeah,
a few things you got to look out for with anything, whether they're selling you an actual product or an information product, is number one, the type of way they want to be paid. If they want you to pay them in fucking Bitcoin or Zelle or Apple Pay, all these like non-refundable transactions, they're a fucking scammer. You know what I mean? Like for me, with my product, the first thing I offer is PayPal, goods and services. Goods, not friends and family. So yeah, you just have to like see how you're paying them and make sure it's secure. I think that's a big thing. And then another thing is just like kind of we touched on earlier, like who like actually doing your research and figuring out who the fuck these people are.
Yeah.
Wow.
And results.
Yeah.
I mean, if like someone's selling, like, let me ask you something. Who do you want to learn how to fly a plane from? The person who flies a plane every single day, or the person who posts a picture of a Lamborghini saying that they made money flying a plane?
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the guy that actually flies a plane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's true.
So, like, the results are key. And it's so funny nowadays with entrepreneurship, we tie fame with success. It's like if you have clout, like, no offense to the clout plug, but if you have clout, that means that you're successful, which could not be further from the truth.
That's true.
Sometimes it's true, but a lot of times it's like, no, dude, like, you having 50,000 followers on Instagram has nothing to do with the fact that your product is fucking garbage. you know, or you having 50,000 followers on Instagram doesn't mean you actually have made any money.
Yeah.
It just means you have 50,000 fucking followers on Instagram. And like there was this guy, I don't remember his name, he was on Instagram, but like his advice on business was just so bad. He was like a kid, I think he was like my age, you know, like 20, 21, 22,
Okay.
23, maybe a little older. But he was like, you know, posting these videos on Instagram. He's got like 15,000 like legit followers, you know.
Yeah.
And like, dude, it was just like the most bullshit business advice. Like clearly.
Didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah, but he was authentic though, because he was talking about, you know, like, hey guys, I've grown my business to, you know, $12,000 to $15,000 a month with Instagram, which he clearly knew about, right? But just everything other than that was just not good advice.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, dude, you need to learn more about business before you start giving this advice, you know? It's like, you guys should try to launch multiple products at the same time. I'm like, no, bro, that's not good, you know? And I even told him that. I commented, he's like, no, I disagree, you know? And I'm like, well, I mean, that's great, but...
That's definitely not the way to do it. I've tried doing that, and
it just
your brain doesn't work like that. Yeah,
no, it does not work.
And you know what Clayton said to me one time, one of our masterminds, which really resonated with me for some random reason, is he's like, if you're trying to like, let's say you're hungry and you need to eat a rabbit, right? Would you try to catch 9 different rabbits? You know what I mean? At once. Or would you try to catch one rabbit at once, right?
Right.
And the point of it is like, let's say the rabbit's $1 million, right? Are you gonna try to like go for it all at once, or you're just gonna go for, you know, the one at once? And the other thing that you said to me one time is if you told me there's $10 million in, you know, somewhere hidden in a book throughout this library, would you go through every book and just like skim over it and like, you know, like look for it? No, you would go. What am I trying to say? I think
This is what I said. Sorry, I remember what you said. I said if there was a check, if I handed you a book with 1,000 pages, and there was a check taped inside one of the pages, you couldn't see it from the outside.
That's what it was. Yes.
And you could take the check. You just had to go through and get it. Would you go through that book and open page 1, and then open page 522, and then open page 1,000, then open page 680? No, you'd go page 1.
Yeah.
Page 2.
Exactly.
Page 3, and eventually you'd find it, right? But so many people, they try to fucking
do everything at once.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know. And that's like one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give to new entrepreneurs is, dude, just find something that you're semi-interested in and just try it. Make some money at it, and if you don't like it, you don't like it.
And then figure it out next.
You know? Like what I've realized about my current business, and I'm going to say this live, okay, is, you know, for me, my goal is to create a, you know, like $1 trillion company. Like I'm not playing around. Like I'm trying to fucking take over the world. But I realize like I'm in the preseason, I'm in the college years of my entrepreneur career. And so are you, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm just trying to learn the game right now. Which is crazy because I'm making a lot of money, but at the same time, like I'm just learning the game. I'm not at Jeff Bezos level right now.
Yeah.
I'm not at Mark Zuckerberg level. I'm not.
Well,
you know,
if you're in college, I'm a freshman in high school right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But my point is like my only goal should be right now is just to stack capital, and just learn. That's it. I mean, that's all I'm really doing anyway. You know, just learn, have fun. You know, enjoy the college years. You know, or you know the high school, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck analogy. You know. But, you know, you're not really playing the game of business until you're at 10, 8-figure plus a year revenue. And I'm not even close to that. I'm at like, you know, 2 million a year, 3 million a year. You know what I mean? We'll see if we can get to 3 with our new product. But the point I'm trying to make though is like, you know, I'm not even playing the game yet.
Yeah.
Like I'm just learning, you know? And maybe I'm a little bit further ahead than you, or maybe I'm a little bit further ahead than people watching. Maybe I'm a lot farther ahead than some people watching, or listening. But at the same time, like the game is so big, you know. It's like how many people play basketball in the world? Hundreds of millions, right?
Yeah.
How many people get paid hundreds of millions of dollars to play basketball? Like 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like all of the rewards go to the 1% of anything, and my goal is to get to that 1% in business, and I'm not even close to that yet. So. You know, I'm here to learn, and as much as I love Surplus List, and you know, of course we're going to be supporting it for a long time, and I'm planning on being here for a long time. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be my $1 billion company.
Yeah.
And I know that, and that's why I'm using it as a learning tool for me, as well as a way to see, you know, what I'm capable of at my ripe young age of 21 years old.
I mean, that mindset right there is just fucking. That's 1 in a million right there, Spencer. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
I just think that's like a perfect way to look at it. Because we've talked about this, I think on last podcast a little bit about like not flexing and stuff and focusing on the right things, and like the whole old money versus new money and stuff. Or maybe we've just been talking about that off air. But you like embody that. I feel like, you know, which is a good thing.
It's dude, like the whole. I'm very conservative with money, right? And it comes from fucking fear, dude. Like I'm scared, bro. Like I grew up, obviously I grew up across the street from you, and we grew up in a very nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
But I was always the kid on the block that like we rented versus most people bought. We were all my life as a kid. I always heard we can't afford that, we can't afford that, we can't afford that. There was times in the summer where like it was hot, I'm like yo, still the AC on, like nah, can't afford it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I grew up. And so my whole life you get told that, and then now you come into a little bit of money, and it's like you're either one of the two. You're either gonna go blow it all because you can finally buy something, or you're gonna be like, nah, fuck, I'm not gonna spend anything. It was just me, which is too much almost. Put it in the bank and just look at it,
Yeah.
Which is kind of stupid, but at the same time, it's better than the alternative.
100%.
And so it comes from fear, and like, this is so interesting. This is kind of my rant that I wanted to go on. Was, last podcast I asked you like, why did you get into business and entrepreneurship? And then what helped you get to a level where you're successful in making some money. And for me, like I've really gone through and analyzed it. And after like listening to Becker and talking with Becker for a while, by the way, if you guys don't know who Alex Becker is, make sure you guys check out Alex Becker.
Yeah.
He's been a huge help in my life and my business. And I don't think he's listening to this, but if he is, shout out to Alex Becker.
Good to go, bro.
I highly doubt he's listening, but if he is, it's kind of cool. One thing that he talks about, he's like a lot of very successful people that are young. And by the way, I'm not saying I'm very successful, but a lot of people that are very successful when they're young.
Angry.
It comes from anger. And I think that was me, dude. Like I was so angry, dude. Like I just felt like God had given me a bad hand in life, like with my brothers and all this. You guys don't know my younger brother's autistic. He can't speak, And then my older brother's leaving. And then, just my ankle injury, just like negative.
There's a lot of bad luck.
Yeah. And so I got out of high school and I was just like pissed. I was like, what the fuck? Like, is this really my life? And it was just like that anger that fucking, I think got me to the next level. And I think that I still have it today with like this like mindset, like fucking conquer everything.
Yeah.
Like, and it comes out sometimes for sure.
The way you just said that was so funny. Your facial expressions fucking conquer everything. I love it.
But yeah.
Do you think it's more anger or just the fact that you're just driven in a good way? Because I know your why, like your biggest why, right? We always talk about whys, is like stems from your brother, your younger brother. But do you think you're angry about bad luck or just driven and motivated by it? Because I feel they're two different things.
Well, I'll say this. So if you guys don't know that much about autism, I'm not going to sit here and give you a lecture about it. But my younger brother, he's 19 years old right now, and he can't speak. He can't speak a word of English. He can't do really anything. And I'll leave it at that, just for privacy. But, like as a kid, I always grew up and I always wanted a younger brother, and it didn't really hit me until high school. I was like, fuck, like I missed out, dude. Like there's a lot of things that I wanted to do. Like I wanted to go down and play basketball with like my younger brother, or my older brothers, but I didn't get either of those, know? And so I do think a lot of it was anger. It was like, why, like kind of why me kind of thing, And then, I mean, sure, some of it's naturally driven. I've always been a very competitive person. But then the other side of it is fear, too. So it's like anger, and then, natural driven, and then fear. And fear is like, dude, like I got this kid that's a full-grown man that can't speak, can't function in society. And at one point, I'm going to have to take care of him in my life.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm either going to have a fuck ton of money or a fuck ton of time or both to be able to do that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so it comes from, like, I think it comes from all three. I do think it's different, being driven. I think now I've kind of left the anger realm a little bit. I'm not doing things out of anger anymore.
Yeah.
But, it still is there a little bit where
Okay.
I'm like, like, fucking I got to prove people wrong. I like this chip on my shoulder. Like I've been doubted my whole life and all this shit. And I don't know. I could go on this whole tirade about that, but.
That makes sense. Especially knowing you, that kind of clears it up a bit. That's cool, though.
That's life, though, man. I mean, you can't. It's like you're given a hand and you just have to play it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, like when we were playing poker the other day, I got fucking 2 of hearts for fucking 40 hands in a row, which is kind of annoying. But I lost my $10 buy-in.
I think I got you on that first hand. You were just trying to show me who had the bigger balls, and I got you with the River King.
That may be accurate.
Yeah.
That may be accurate. Although you did river your fucking. I was gonna win until you fucking rivered your king.
Yeah.
So let's be real too. But But yes, that was like my only good hand of the night. I had a pair of 9s. That was my best hand of the night.
Yeah.
Was a pair. I thought I had a straight. I misread my hand, but anyway. But yeah, man. I mean, I think should we wrap it up? You got anything else to add, man?
Was that the rant you wanted to go on, or was it the same rant that you had your
Not really.
your
I
Instagram?
I think we've covered enough. Maybe I'll save my rant for another day.
Okay.
Because I think we've gone from maybe an hour or so.
Damn, it feels like 20 minutes.
I know, it's crazy.
That's amazing. What do you want to cover next time? While we're still.
We have a couple different topics. We could do the webinar.
Okay.
That's an option. We could do kind of our an origin story of like how you got started, how I got started, like a really in-depth version of that.
Okay.
I think that would be cool to do. I definitely want to do that soon. Or we could just cover some, I don't know, any topic you want. I don't really care. To be.
I'm down to do the origin and then maybe mixing the webinar at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can do that.
And we can split them up.
Cool, man. All right, that's what we'll do. Guys, hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, leave us a like, comment down below. And if you guys are watching this on iTunes or listening to this on iTunes, make sure you guys leave us a review. We always appreciate that.
100%.
And if you didn't like this podcast, go fuck yourself. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. If you didn't enjoy the podcast, you knew I was gonna say that too.
Oh my God. If
you didn't enjoy the podcast,
go fuck yourself.
Yeah, leave us a dislike. Tell us how horrible we are. You know, leave a hateful comment
and then just watch it, motivate us more.
Yeah, and then it'll light the fire inside me again. I'll have to fucking cover everything again. You know what I mean? So anyways, that's it, guys. Hey, have a good one. Jack, it's a pleasure, my friend.